Hey guys, welcome to shop. So this is really awesome. I'm trying to lower my seat. We have 252 subscribers today, and that is a huge milestone. I was not expecting to have happen so soon, and I'm thrilled about it. So this is kind of a project update on the dovetail cutter. The video editing for this is part 1 is being processed now. This is the finished part right here, and kind of an explanation on why, while I am Moose's Gunsmithing and Machine Shop, that is my official trade name, that is the name of my FFL. On YouTube, we emphasize the Machine Shop part of that. And there's really 3 reasons. 1 is YouTube content policy, 2 is liability, and 3 is accessibility. Where liability to me is the most important, where YouTube is, I want to stay within the very nebulous rules of YouTube and not really touch assault weapons, because mostly I don't really work on that stuff here. I think that all of the guys building AKs and ARs are not going to last. We're going to move on to the next platform eventually. ARs have been really hot for 20 years, and AKs have been hot for like 5 now. I do work on them. I've built both. I do custom work on both. But that's not a space that's really worth competing in, because there's a lot of guys who do it. And the tools to get into it are fairly cheap. So I really focus mostly on barrel work and machine time for high-end firearms. I will do stock refinishing here. I do farm out any and all checkering that comes in, unless it's checkering repair. That is something you have to do a lot of, because it's mostly motor control. So machining is motor control really matters, and having steady hands helps. But a lot of it is setup, and frankly, you don't have to have steady hands to turn a dial. So I stick with what I know and what I'm good at, because there's no point competing in market space that's really crowded and there's guys better than you doing it. I'm not the greatest at marketing. Frankly, I don't make the greatest videos. I try to go with quality content, not quality videography, and that really comes through. But the YouTube content policy is weird, so they have, like, it changes what you can and can't do. The rules get interpreted funny. I mean, I hate to say it, I work on boomer blasters a lot, so that's not scary black rifles. I don't think we're going to get hammered there. But it would be nice to monetize this channel to kind of pay for the shop time, because this does pull me away from production work, and it doesn't really cost money because I haven't spent anything. I think I have like an $18 tripod, and I've been using it a ton for Instagram and YouTube Reels. And that Reels stuff does pull in business. The long-form YouTube stuff is mostly a vanity project, to be quite frank. It is fun to be a YouTube micro-celebrity. And it's fun to make this kind of content more accessible to people who'd never see or hear of it anyway. And it's like, I mean, this is like a dude in his shed, basically. This is a 24 by 24 2-car garage where I got one of the doors taken out. And I mean, like, I'm probably not even in the center of my frame, and I don't think it matters. It really, who gives a shit? It's just like, we're here to talk and learn about stuff. Whether or not I'm perfectly squared in frame is largely irrelevant. It's just, you can hear my voice. As long as you can see my whole head, I'm okay with that. But the insurance liability thing is really big, because I don't have product liability. So product liability is for manufacturing parts, and I don't have professional liability. So professional liability is for kind of like teaching, and I don't teach. So to be really clear, I'm showing you how I do things. I'm not teaching you how to do things. And I think that's something that is very important to understand for this channel, is that I am not a teacher, I'm not an educator. I don't think you should copy how I do a lot of things. And I really don't want someone watching what I do with firearms, especially a younger kid. Like 16 to 20-year-old kids tinker with guns. They do. And they do a lot of dumb shit, and they hurt themselves. And I've hurt myself. I've blown up a gun or two, and it's a learning experience. But I don't want someone seeing me do something here a mostly correct way, in such a way where the end product will be safe, and injuring themselves because they misunderstood a step or skipped a step. That is a really big concern, because that can open me up to getting sued and losing the business and losing everything I own. Because certain operations I do are actually life or death if they are done incorrectly. And like, I think a lot of professionals do things a million times. They kind of are like, oh, well, this is safe. And a good example of that is I almost killed myself with my drill press a few weeks ago. I flung an 11-pound part to one end of the shop and took a chunk out of the paint on the foot of my Bridgeport, and the vise went to the other end of the shop and dented my surface grinder cabinet. And that is a ways, and that was chest height, and if that had hit me in the chest, I would have gone radio silent because I would have died. It probably would have hit me, if it had hit me in the sternum, it would have likely caused a bleed in my heart. And that kind of matter-of-fact approach is, these machines are very dangerous, you can't get complacent. I don't want to see a young person who's getting interested in the trades do something stupid and kill themselves. Now, most of the time, when you do have close calls, even if I got hit, I could have been fine, but that's like worst case scenario. Be safe, be respectful of drill presses. They will ruin your day. Lathes will ruin your day and make you a meaty pulp. A milling machine will ruin your day. And, you know, grinders will ruin your day. Oh, I always wear a respirator when I'm grinding. So when I'm filming, I don't always wear a respirator. I tend to not use as much cutting oil, or none at all, for filming, so you can't see it. But from a production perspective, I slather that on like it's free. So I have 2 HEPA filters running in the shop at all times when I'm really trying to make chips and make money. And I wear a P100 organic vapor respirator. I also have the same protocols when I'm grinding, because oil smoke is really, really bad for you. So same with grinding dust. So I grind a lot of carbide here. So you're using a silicon carbide wheel, which is particularly bad for you. Or you're also getting exposed to a ton of cobalt. So it's like, I have a lot of dust containment things. It's why I named this shop after my dog Moose. He's not allowed in here. I have to really clean up and vacuum for him to be allowed in the shop, for it to be safe for him, because he licks his paws. And I love my dog to death. I do not want my dog dying of some god-awful chemical that's on the floor in here. And I don't let him really rub up against my clothes when I walk inside. I change clothes as soon as I'm in the house. So that safety side of things doesn't come through in the videos. I mean, fortunately, the barriers to entry in machining are fairly steep. You know, the cheapest mini mills are like 15 or 1800 bucks now. So same thing with mini lathes. So I guess like people are probably going to do some research and try and educate themselves before they do stuff, but I just don't want to see anyone get hurt. And I think making this accessible for a really just a broader audience, one of the things we see in firearms communities is it's like, frankly, it's 95% white guys between 25 and 60. That's not most of the country anymore. It's like, I'm from a pretty, you know, commingled part of the country in Connecticut. And I mean, my high school was like 40% black. So I don't want to alienate anybody. Like this machining, manufacturing is for the whole world. Like everyone will use parts that have been made on a machine or repaired on a machine. So why would we focus on something that may or may not alienate people? And like, yeah, I think almost all of my subscribers at this point don't have a problem with guns. But I don't want to lose an audience because I'm only doing something that they're not interested in. And, you know, you don't have to like guns. Like that shouldn't be pushed on people. And also, like, I think a lot of people get exposed to firearms in sort of forums like this, where it's, I'm making a front sight. I am not talking about politics, and that's something that's never going to happen. I will go out of my way if people start talking politics in the comments, no matter what it is, that gets deleted. This is a forum for education, and we can share our opinions on machining things, but no politics, guys. As a business, and I represent the business now, I don't have a political opinion. It's not my place. And I want to make accessible content for everybody, because we're always going to need repair, and I consider myself a repair machinist. It's kind of a niche thing. I'm not really even a job shop, but I think that we always need people looking at repair. Heavy equipment parts have skyrocketed, and I can save a lot of parts. Like on smaller excavators, I can bore out and make oversized pin bushings and save booms that may or may not be saved otherwise, and keep older machines in business and help kind of repair parts when parts don't exist. So that is always going to have a place no matter where you are, no matter who you are. So that, I think, is just the accessibility is really, really important, and also making a welcoming comment section, which I do have so far. I will occasionally get really nasty comments, and I've had people say some really horrible, nasty things, and those get deleted quickly, because that is not okay. Be respectful. And thankfully, and this is really one of the reasons I've had so much fun on this YouTube channel, is everyone is respectful. I get really good comments and really good feedback, and I get messages with really good ideas on how to improve things. So far, I think you guys have been great, but I really want to maintain this energy of just like open-mindedness in sharing knowledge, because that's what this channel is mostly about to me. It's not about showing off. It's not about, oh, look at all these guns I made. Like, no one really cares. Like, I can start bragging about, accuracy, but the proof's in the pudding, and not every project you build goes according to plan. I mean, my goal is 5/8 inch 3-shot groups and sub-minute of angle 10-shot groups at 100 yards. So that's my goal for accuracy. I don't always meet that, but I think that's a good starting point. And I mean, that's just a goal. I don't guarantee that, and I can't guarantee that, because there's too many factors. I might have a lot of ammunition that works really well, and that's what I happen to test fire with, and you happen to test fire with something else. Or you might just be a terrible shot, or I might get a bad barrel and I can't do anything right. So there's a lot of uncertainties, and there's goals, and there's what happens. And when the two line up, it feels awesome. And I mean, the two have really lined up in this channel. I was hoping this would take off and I'd get some views, and I have 252 subscribers in a few months, and that's awesome. Like, that's 252 people who are learning about manual machining and, dare I say, obsolescent manufacturing technologies that may not have known about these before, or may be able to teach me stuff that I didn't know about. So that's like being able to pass this on to the next generation. Like, I'm not going to be around forever. And my mentors, one of them died, and one of them doesn't look like they're going to last another couple of years. So that's a huge knowledge base that's getting lost. So documenting and recording this knowledge and putting it on YouTube for posterity, I think, is really important. Like Keith Rucker, Vintage Machinery, is really valuable. I'm able to get manuals for some of my really old garbage that I would not have been able to have access to otherwise because of his Vintage Machinery project. And there's other people out there doing that, and that's really, really valuable. Like, there's actually the Museum of American Precision in Windsor, Vermont, which, if you're in the area, I think is really worth checking out if you're into old-timey machines. I would say that they have huge gaps in their collections. Like, they don't have any horizontal mills, and they don't have any shapers, which I think is really odd, considering they have stuff that's like pre-1920, and then they have like a few vertical mills, Bridgeports from like the 40s, 30s to like the 80s. But there's not a lot of the old like Regal industrial machines. Like they've got some CMMs. But I've actually got some older stuff here still in service than they have in their museum, believe it or not. So they're a great museum, but they've got holes. And it's also tough because they don't have people who've really run these machines there. I mean, they have this super nice kid who's, I think, going to school for manufacturing technology. He's a CNC guy. I mean, he doesn't know anything about setting up a manual mill or a manual lathe. I don't know how much he really even knows about programming, but he's a good presenter, and I think that's what's more important is museums like that are to get you interested. And it's nice to see someone even younger than me learning about this and educating themselves and educating the public on manufacturing. And the Museum of American Precision is really worth a tour. It's not expensive. They have some great books there too. I think that's something that people should support, and at least they have good videos online. Like they have a Bridgeport #1 of the M heads, and they've got a couple of J heads, which was really funny actually talking to the kid there and saying, yeah, my Bridgeport's older than the ones you have here. Because I think I have like year 2 of the J head. And that's really funny watching people's jaw drops thinking about like that is a 70-something-year-old machine. In service, making money. And that's what you get for taking care of your things. Like take care of your things, pass it down. They last a long time. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and go out and support more channels like mine that are trying to share and educate people on things. Like I think educational channels really where YouTube shines. And I think it's the most important thing YouTube offers, because it gives people a worldwide platform to teach about things that you might not ever have heard of otherwise. And the internet's a really powerful tool. I think we should use it for ways to better ourselves instead of just watch videos of cats or get lost in angry echo chambers. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for supporting my channel and being such great viewers. It really means a lot getting the positive feedback, doing these things, and it makes it easier to really take half an hour a day to go generate good videos for you guys. So really, thank you guys for watching.